Oh yeah!
When we talk about the Royal Rumble, we remember the winners, the over-the-top eliminations, the Iron Men, and that one time Randy Savage went for a pinfall. The often forgotten part of the 30-man extravaganza is the runner-up, the first loser. The second is the best, while the third has a Prince Albert-level hairy chest. The wrestler who got so close to main eventing WrestleMania, or as we put this list together, we realize they actually still got to main event WrestleMania. Sometimes already as champion. Yes, we're looking at you, Triple H. So here is our video ranking the top 10 runner-ups in Royal Rumble history. Be sure to embrace the madness and subscribe so you can be notified when a new video is posted. Number 10. Diesel, 1996. The 1996 Royal Rumble was not a groundbreaking Rumble by any means, but it still shared its fun moments. We had the debut of Vader, and two other future jobbers would show up named the Ringmaster and Isaac Yankem. I'm sure they would make no impact on the business whatsoever. One of the odds-on favorites to win the bout was Big Daddy Cool Diesel. Fresh off of his year-long run with the title through 1995, Diesel was in the midst of a heel turn and was adopting a demeanor that would be more reminiscent of his time as Big Sexy Kevin Nash in WCW. Diesel would eliminate 5 wrestlers in the Rumble before turning around into a sweet chin music by his best friend Shawn Michaels. Number 9. Chris Jericho, 2012. On the first episode of the new year in 2012 of Monday Night Raw, Chris Jericho made his triumphant return to the WWE after taking some time off to focus on his music. After declaring himself for the Rumble, fans were anxious to see the future Painmaker get his first Rumble win. The odds were in his favor as the Rumble was not a stacked card, as we saw entrants such as Hacksaw Jim Duggan, Mick Foley, Booker T, Jerry Lawler, and even Karma. But we're not going to mention Michael Cole, are we? Are we? Jericho had the full support of the crowd when he then took a bro kick from Sheamus on the apron to the floor after eliminating 2 superstars in the match. All was not lost though, as Jericho was still in the WWE title match at WrestleMania against CM Punk. Number 8. Mr. Perfect, 1990. In the early Rumbles, the winner did not move on to the main event of WrestleMania. It was just a really cool concept match that made for a great pay-per-view year in and year out. It also could be a chance to cap off a feud, and this is exactly what happened in the 1990 Royal Rumble, as Hulk Hogan had his issues with Mr. Perfect and the Genius through late 89 and early 90, with the Genius even scoring a victory over the Immortal One on a Saturday night's main event, albeit by countout. Perfect drew number 30 and had 1 elimination before it was down to he and Hogan, and we all know how the rest goes. Perfect flex, Hulk up, big boot, and Perfect thrown over the top to the floor. Hogan poses, crowd pops, I am a real American. Oh, that's a great song. Great song. Number 7. Triple H, 2008 and 2009. Before you feel too bad for the game in these Rumbles, just remember that he still fought for the WWE title at WrestleMania in both years, even going in as champion in 2009. In 2008, Triple H entered at 29, eliminating 6 men, and was the favorite to win until we had that surprise return. And yes, you know what return I'm talking about. In 2009, the King of Kings entered the Royal Rumble at number 7, eliminating 6 men once again before being down to a 3-on-1 battle with Legacy. He threw out both Cody Rhodes and Ted DiBiase Jr. before the numbers game was just too much for the game, and Randy Orton scored the victory. Number 6. Roman Reigns, 2017, 2018, and 2020. I know, he was also a runner-up in 2014, but he was not the main eventer at that time like he was here. During these years, this is when the Vince McMahon and Roman Reigns as our superhero babyface experiment was hitting an all-time peak of hatred. In 2017, Roman was actually in the title match earlier in the show, losing to Kevin Owens while Chris Jericho was in a shark cage above the ring. To the chagrin of everybody, Roman surprised us by being number 30 into the Royal Rumble, and you can imagine the boos cascading upon him. He was then eliminated by Randy Orton, another superstar no one wanted to win, but the crowd popped anyway because, you know, anyone but Roman. In 2018 and 2020, Roman would finish second place once again, but this time to crowd favorites Shinsuke Nakamura and Drew McIntyre, and these both came off really well. Both Rumbles are considered some of the best the company has ever produced, and his work in each match cannot be understated. We still hate you for 2015 though. Number 5. Dean Ambrose, 2016. The 2016 Royal Rumble was only the second time in company history that the title was on the line. The champion going into the match was Roman Reigns, and he got the lucky distinction of being number 1. This was during the all-time high of the Roman Reigns hate, as mentioned before, but the one person here that the crowd was behind was fellow Shield member Dean Ambrose. The now Jon Moxley was red hot during this period, and we were teased of a title victory not once, but twice. Reigns was eliminated in the final 3, so the fact that we were guaranteed a new champion between Ambrose and Triple H had the crowd hoping for a victory for the Lunatic Fringe. It was not to be though, because Papa H is gonna Papa H sometimes. Dean almost got a chance at his redemption on a network special called Roadblock right before WrestleMania that year, but if the game beats you once, you know the game's gonna beat you twice, huh? Number 4. Kurt Angle, 2002. The 2002 Royal Rumble is a fine outing, headlined by the return of Triple H after he had torn his quad in May of 2001. The WWE was coming off the disappointing Invasion angle, and they were trying to find new footing in 2002 without any competition from WCW. The year of 2001 was headlined by Stone Cold Steve Austin and Kurt Angle, and Angle has shown that he is one of the best wrestlers in the company during that year. The winner of this Rumble, though, was never in doubt, as WWE built its entire story around the return of the creative genius Paul Levesque. But a final 3 of Austin, Angle, and Helmsley really meant that the match could go in any direction. After Austin was eliminated, Kurt was then clotheslined by the game to complete his victorious return to the main event. Number 3. Shawn Michaels, 2007. Ah yes, the 2007 Royal Rumble. The first Rumble to be represented by all 3 brands of Raw, SmackDown, and ECW. The match featured a bunch of ECW originals, plus a Rumble debut from a certain chick magnet. With a table elimination, and a Rumble record of taking 8 superstars to eliminate Viscera, breaking the previous record of 7 superstars it took to eliminate Mabel. I promise you, they're 2 different people. This bout will always be remembered though for the final 2 showdown between Shawn Michaels and The Undertaker. Our little match to end the match that we got, Shawn and Taker gave us a classic after a classic. With near eliminations, finishers, and drama we rarely get to see in a Rumble match, Shawn was eventually thrown out when he went for a sweet chin music, but Taker caught it and tossed him over the top. WWE then paid homage to this moment by having Big Evil and the Sexy Boy himself drawing numbers 1 and 2 in the following Rumble. Number 2. Bret Hart, 1997. At Survivor Series 1996, Bret Hart made his return to the company in a classic against Stone Cold Steve Austin, and it was looking like the Hitman was easily the best bet to win the 1997 Royal Rumble match and get his rematch against Shawn Michaels at WrestleMania 13. It was so obvious that on an early January episode of Livewire, Vic Venom, aka Vince Russo, who was on the creative team, even said that the obvious pick is Bret Hart and everyone knows that. That was on WWE television for the whole audience to hear. Vince, not liking how predictable the winner would be, decided he would call an audible. During the match, Austin would be thrown out by Bret, but due to the referees being on the other side of the ring dealing with a brawl between Mankind and Terry Funk, Austin crawled back into the ring to eliminate The Undertaker and Vader before sneaking behind Bret and stealing the victory from the Hitman. In a strange turn of events, neither men would headline WrestleMania that year, as Undertaker got the challenge for the title, as Bret and Austin would go on to have a submission match which would be the greatest WrestleMania match of all time. Yes, people who love HBK and Undertaker from Mania 25, Bret and Austin is the greatest WrestleMania match of all time. Fight me. Number 1. Stone Cold Steve Austin, 1999. He was the biggest star during the biggest period in the biggest feud, so you knew this was coming. Don't be mad at me because you're smart. The story of the 1999 Royal Rumble was Vince put a $100,000 bounty on any man who would eliminate Austin from the Rumble. Not only that, but McMahon himself entered the match as he and Stone Cold started out at numbers 1 and 2. Austin and Vince fought all the way to the hallway bathroom, where Austin was then jumped by members of the corporation. While Austin was gone, Vince went ahead and put himself on commentary, and the ring started to fill up with mid-carders. But hey, we did get Chyna at number 30, first woman to ever be in a Royal Rumble match. After Austin made his way back and had 8 eliminations, it was down to McMahon and Austin. The Rock came out distracting Steve, allowing Vince to come from behind and throw out the Texas Rattlesnake. It's okay though. All is well that ends well, as Austin would end up challenging The Rock in the main event of WrestleMania and winning back the WWE Championship.